More music. Better mental health. Only on IPL Radio.
That's right, you're listening to IPL Radio and it's Mish on Good Vibrations with my co-host Teresa.
Hello, good afternoon.
As she is. Yes, it is Friday and it's a long weekend and it's school holidays. School holidays.
Okay.
That's not a good thing. I hate school holidays, not because I don't have any children at home, but because the naughty children get out there and I'm scared of having my house left open.
It's the naughty ones that you notice.
True,
not
the noisy ones, yes. And I've got Al Muir in the building with me as well. Thanks for coming in, Al. It's always nice to see you.
Yes, if only the weekends were as long as the weeks.
I know. I suppose. If you're retired, each day runs into it, so it's to the next one anyway. You never remember what the bloody day is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Haven't got there quite yet. I'm practicing. Yeah. What we're talking about. So we're going to talk about whatever today. We're just taking it as it comes. Let the flow through us. Let the vibrations flow through us. We were thinking of talking about
the unknown.
The unknown.
So what are we going to talk about?
The unknown. That is the unknown.
The unknown. So
because we don't
let's
know.
not plan at all, and let's just see how it unfolds.
Exactly.
Our first thing is the unknown, because it started off when I walked in, and Teresa was doing for the first time all the technical computer stuff, which is an unknown.
That's right, unknown for
and
her.
And you get all flustered and there's a lot of pressure on you and that sort of thing. Same when you start a new job or you do a new hobby or something like that. So unknown, and so a lot of people, that fear comes in. I can't do it. But of course, you were like that when you first started the radio.
Yeah, of course.
Now it's just no problem.
You know what? The unknown for me today at this particular moment is the fact I'm sharing the board with somebody. Now I'm a control freak, so having to share with you is like what, but I need to do that. So it is for me
Sharing
as well. Share is caring, as they say. So
plus you are going away. So
you need it. You need it. So yes. Again, that's a new thing for me, and it's the unknown. It is the unknown. Every second in front of you is the unknown.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So the unknown, it's a beautiful thing, but how are you ever going to experience magic? How are you ever going to experience something beautiful in your life, something new, something interesting, if you don't go to the unknown? If you don't get over those little fears, sometimes they're little, sometimes they're big fears. So
that's true.
I struggle with it. Like I'm the sort of person that will do the same thing day in, day out, and won't step out of my comfort zone.
But you did when you did the radio.
I did. I needed to do that at the time. It was something that I had to do for my mental health. And coming in here every Friday, it's for my mental health, so it's something I do. But I'm very boring. I don't tend to do anything new. Tonight, I'm doing something new. Tonight, I'm going to a retreat. Is it called a spiritual retreat? I don't know. Wellness retreat.
Spiritual, consciousness.
Wellness, yeah.
Wellness.
I've never done this before, ever. I'm getting right out of my comfort zone, and my anxiety is sky high. I'm having to drive to Gidgigana, which is quite.
I wish I was going with you.
I know it's a long way. I know it's a long way from here for a start.
I just drove to Kalgoorlie and back on the weekend.
I don't know how you see. That's huge. That's huge. But I'm stepping into a building that I've never been into before. And if you've got anxiety, you like everything to be comfortable. You like everything to be the same. Or I like to be able to go somewhere. If I know I'm going to go there next week, I'll pop in there and just make sure whatever it is comfortable before I go in. So I've never been. No, I've never done that before. I'm meeting women that I've never met. There's probably a couple in there that I might know, and
they'll love you.
I struggle with being with a group of women. To be honest, I'd rather be with the blokes. I don't know how I'm going to go, but it'll be a challenge. Totally unknown, no idea what to expect. I'm sleeping in the same room as somebody else's bunk beds, so I'm sharing a room. I snore. I hope they don't. I've warned them. I've warned them.
I'm the snorer here. I'm the alpha snorer.
Are you?
Oh
I snore.
No,
I'm the alpha snorer. Yeah, I'm the snorer.
How do you snore like?
I don't know. I have to ask my husband.
No, come on, you must.
I have no idea.
What you
Really?
should do is
Doesn't
ask
he go,
him to record it one night.
No, I don't. I don't snore. In my mind, I don't
snore. Is it loud though, or is it like
I
soft?
know. I think it's quite loud.
Oh.
Anyway, so I've got to go into a room with bunk beds. Bunk beds. And it's just the whole thing. Like, this is 2 nights of being with people that I'm I don't know, and I don't know whether I'm going to be comfortable in.
Yeah.
And it's that unknown
Yes.
is the anxiety, because that's what anxiety is the worry
Fear
about
of
what's
the unknown.
the unknown.
And,
yeah.
and usually anxiety is to do with the future.
Exactly.
Or you are projecting into the future with things that have happened in the past that you're worried are going to happen again.
Yeah.
So either
Ooh.
way, you're not in the present moment.
Yes. Oh my God,
Right.
that's
But
deep, and
also
that's so
too,
right.
Yeah.
It's
so
like
you're
a-
either in the past or the future. You're not
Ooh.
here. Because right here, right now, what problem is there?
Not ever, never a moment.
Never.
No.
So where is it? It's in the past or the future.
Ooh, you know
So
what?
that's why Eckhart Tolle talks about the present moment, the power of now, in his book, The Power of Now. Because in this moment, right now, we all might have challenges in our lives, and we all do. But right now, at this very moment, which is all there ever is, there is never anything but the present moment. What problem is there?
None.
It's
There
the
you go.
acceptance part is saying, well,
When you
What's the
feel
worst
into
thing
that
that
and
can
think, you
happen?
feel into it instead of thinking into it, how does it make you feel when you know that at the present moment there's not a problem?
I never think about it until you tell me. Like, I love you coming in, because I never look outside the box.
Yeah,
And when you said I'm projecting something that's happened in my past,
yeah. Into the future.
and it's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
It's exactly what I'm doing.
you were saying
Bullying.
about being controlling.
But bullying. I've
Controlling
been
your-
bullied badly. Groups of women.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that, and I am projecting that.
Wow.
Yeah, so but that also brings that energy to it as well. You're pulling that energy back from the past. That
Yes.
energy is not stored in your body; it's stored in the field, our field. It's not stored in your brain. You are calling it in.
Piss off.
So, but at the same time, the
Yeah, because
exciting
it is
thing
the
when you know
past.
that is that you can call in the total opposite,
Okay.
and it's a conscious choice when you
True.
when you practice it.
True.
So you got, like, when you recognise the emotion, you can actually step back from it and go, oh wow, I am feeling action. Why is that? And then you look
Yeah.
at it. Oh,
I-
okay,
yeah.
that's because of that, and then you can separate yourself.
That's
from
exactly why
the
I'm feeling the
feeling.
way I'm feeling, is because it has
it's
happened
just
before.
a feeling.
Yeah.
Just a feeling.
And that's one way, and that's doing it through narrative, where you get back and why am I like this? But there's another way of doing it just energetically. You know, there's a great book by David
Acceptance.
Hawkins called Letting Go, where you do it energetically. So you take that feeling, you feel it, you don't try and get away from it, you sit with it, and you say, is that all you got feeling? Is that it?
I've been
And
sitting
then
there
what
with it for
happens after a
years.
little while is it's our reaction to those more what we call negative feelings, those lower vibrational feelings that we resist against and don't want. So when you sit with that feeling and go, oh, like same as when you face a fear. After you face it, you go, oh, why was I scared about that? That wasn't so bad. And it's the same with those feelings. You know, if you sit with and go, oh, I've got anxiety about that, let go of all the talk about it, why you've got it, why you haven't got it. You can go down huge rabbit holes trying to work it out. And it is important to feel.
Yeah.
But just feel that feeling and go, well, I'm going to sit with this and let that energy emotion, actually travel through me instead of pushing it back. Because instead of pushing it back, you're pushing it down inside and
Definitely.
creating a memory of it that keeps returning all the time.
Definitely.
So and just sit with that emotion. And when you first do it, it might take 10, 15, 20 minutes. And you sit with it and go, I have anxiety. Right now I have anxiety. I'm just going to feel this. I'm going to feel it. I'm not going to step away from it. I'm not going to try and stop it. I'm not going to try and work out what it is. I'm going to feel it. And then what happens eventually is you realise that you don't have that feeling anymore, but this feeling of joy or this happiness feeling replaces it. Because you've just got that energy out of your body, and then because of your intention of that, the good energy flows in. So that's on an energetic level rather than just a narrative level.
Because I'm going to cry now. I've been bullied all my schooling life.
Yeah.
I've been bullied by women, particularly as an adult. So I've got a lot of negative energy there about that,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm portraying for tonight.
Yes.
I'm taking that with me tonight,
Yeah.
and I need to stop it here or whatever, and don't take that with me.
Yeah, so now that you are aware of that, you can go, well, you don't mean to, but that's the energy you're bringing into it.
Exactly.
So the likelihood of that happening, even though it's not going to happen,
No.
because I know they're all going to be beautiful people
Yeah.
at Dee's event tonight,
Yeah.
the weekend, is you actually, it's the law of universal attraction. When we attract stuff in, what we expect is what we get.
Okay.
Okay. So well, today's a new day in this present moment, and going forward, there's no need for that to be in my life. Okay, it might have been there in the past, but They're a different person now. It's a different situation.
Okay.
It's a different
Yeah,
life.
I need to learn that more.
I'm not going to put myself in that situation. And if by some chance something like that happens, I will stand up and I will relieve myself of that situation and not allow it to happen.
That's why I said I'm going in my own car, because
Yeah.
if I need to get away, I can get away. It's an escape route. Like, otherwise, if I go with someone else, I'm stuck.
Yeah, well,
But in my mind, I needed that.
yes.
I needed that
yeah,
escape.
and that's good because it's a, we do these things
Fight
in
and flight.
transitions. You can't go from this to this
No.
in
No.
one step. So the other thing with that is that your ego, what happens is we get in our head, in our ego, right, not in our body. The heart has 3 times as more connections to the brain as the brain has to the heart,
Okay.
right? So it sends 3 times as many signals to the brain as what the brain sends to the heart.
Which is
So which one
yeah.
should be in charge?
The head.
Hey?
Or my heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
The head's
everyone, it's with the
currently
brain
there it
because
is. Yeah.
This has taken over because of this modern life.
Correct.
And programming and conditioning, and I had a sense of talking about that, but I was going down some rabbit holes there from a conversation I had this morning. But we have all this programming and conditioning. We're conditioned with fear day after day after day after
100%.
day after day.
100%.
You watch the news, it's 95% fear. And they know that. They do it on purpose.
I don't watch it for that reason.
And why? So that they can
Control.
get your attention, make you feel horrible, and make advertising money from it. What sort of organisation does that?
Yeah, it's shocking.
If you were a
Isn't it?
human, what would you
All
you
of
be
them
thought
do.
of?
That's why.
Well,
That's why I don't
that's
like some of
right.
the social media, because you're constantly bombarded with advertising. Buy this, buy that, and it's like even the people that are saying buy this, buy that, they don't even use the products. You know,
they're
but
getting paid to sell it.
to say that,
Yeah.
and I can't handle it even for a short period of time. So I don't know people who just sit on there and just watch it.
I don't watch any news at all. I don't listen to any news. I have no idea what's happening in the world,
That's a good thing.
because all I'm worried about is what I'm doing.
Well, your world and your
Exactly.
world, because why do we need to know about two people who died in a plane crash on the other side of the world?
I mean,
what
no.
possible good could that do us to know that?
No, nothing at
But we're
all. At
constantly
all.
bombarded with death.
The only thing that I have
Yes, all
struggled
these
with
things.
is because I don't watch or listen to the news, I don't have much to talk about. Because that's what everyone wants to talk about. Is, what's happening here, and did you hear about this, and did you watch the news? I don't. So I don't have.
Are you scared? That's basically what they're saying.
It's
Are you scared of
ridiculous.
this? Are you scared of
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So
and
it's
that
interesting.
Fear stops us from.
And that's
one,
yeah.
it ends up in anxiety and depression and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and all sorts of mental.
I mean, COVID
affections.
was the thing about that.
That was huge. The way that played out.
That's the
with the
biggest
media.
fear campaign
It
ever in
was
the world. And it
huge.
didn't have to be.
No, massive.
Where was all the talk about the 99.9% of people who recovered?
They don't talk about that. They only talk about the people that are dying. See, it's always the negative. Always the negative.
Yeah.
And
It's-
it's still in society, but we don't even hear about
It's
it
just a
hardly
cold
at
flu.
all now.
Yeah, and what happens there is that fear doesn't go away. You get that into
Yeah,
your system, and
yeah.
it goes into your subconscious, and it's there unless you can find ways to get rid of it through. That's a beautiful thing of
And it's-
meditation,
yeah.
sound immersions, mindfulness, mantras, affirmations to yourself. All these things that, like you said, now having that knowledge of knowing that. Well, okay, I've had this in the past, but I'm going to consciously change that.
Okay.
Because there's only
It's
one
gonna be
person.
different.
who can do
I'm
it,
the only one that can. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So that's that overactive ego trying to protect you. So it's in our egoic body way more than our heart. In our head more than our heart, because the ego always wants to protect you. We have to have an ego. It's part of being human. But the ego should be seen through the spiritual lens, through the conscious lens, through our consciousness, not through just letting it run rampant and do it at once, which is so very hard because that's what we've been conditioned and programmed to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but once you're aware of that, then and it's different for everyone, you can start finding tools and ways to go about that. And there's some very common ways, which is your meditation, your sound immersions. And a lot of that is energetic. And then you've got therapists and all that sort of thing. You've got support groups and counselling and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I think one of the traps with healing, and then everyone goes, and I'm still on a healing journey myself, bad stuff happens to everyone and we all need healing.
Yep.
But it can become an obsession. I need to heal from this, and now I need to heal from this.
Okay.
Now I need, this is caused by that, and that's caused by that. But in the end, what does it matter right now in this present moment?
Nothing matters.
Everything
really.
we've just been talking about, what does that matter right now in this present
No,
moment?
it means
And from moment to moment, whatever do we have?
that moment. That's all we've got.
Right. So when you make a decision to go, well, right, my present moments, I'm going to try and be present, and then you feel this energy just pour in. As I say that and you feel that and go, well, right now, if you think back when I said that, was this little rush of something that, oh, wow, you know, a little...
Well, it was a thought of, oh, I can control this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that's controlling me.
Yeah.
Which it is, but there's another way I can be looking at it now.
What about focus? So you were talking about letting those feelings of dread go.
Yeah.
And so for myself, I've recently been focusing on where I need to work on, the areas that I know I need to work on to be better. But I find that the more I think, I really need healing in that area because this happened to me when I was a child and these things happened and all that sort of stuff. But then I find that it's a very negative trail to go down.
Oh, okay.
And you can get stuck there.
Okay.
With, I really
The
need
rabbit
to,
hole.
that, yeah. But I found that I just went, you know what? I can't change the past. It is what it is, so I accepted it. And then I started to focus on the things that I did want. So I just went, right, I need to get this done, and I started to shift my focus, and then everything else followed, and I felt better.
Yeah.
My feelings changed from being introverted and just looking within. I started to look out at where I did want to go. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, you know, it is important, like you say, things from childhood, things from younger, and I've had things that last couple of years have come up that you change the story in that you don't realise how much what effect it's had on you. So then
exactly.
you do, I think, just from my point of view, you do in a sense have to relive it a little bit to acknowledge it, to see it, and to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean about actually feeling these emotions instead of trying to push them away. How am I going to... You know, how am I going to not feel like this? Or
it's not the same as pretending it's not there.
feeling like it till it goes away.
Yeah.
And then it becomes less and less.
So you know that it's there.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, this is why I do the things I do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's happened.
Yeah.
That's who I am. But I'm not going to let that define me anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on where I do want to go. And when I recognise that little thing come up, go, oh, there it is. I recognise why I'm doing this or having this reaction, but still focusing on where I want to go.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is important because you recognise and go, oh, I
There's
can do something
acceptance
about
as
this
well.
instead of going, oh, I'm doing it again. And then we're constantly judging ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
putting
hard on ourselves.
down, lack of self-worth, shame, guilt.
It stops us from being who we are,
been a big
which
part
is
of
what
my
people
journey.
love about us, isn't it? Like you being you and me being me and you being you. And it stops us when we think of all the things we aren't rather than concentrating on all the things we are and what we've got to add to the world.
And what we've got to look forward to. So
Yes.
having an even-handed approach about it, where, okay, I'll look at these things from the past and deal with them as best I can. And then I will also look at the things that I'm doing now, the positive side of things, and, you know, maybe have a look at where you've been, where you've come from, where you are now, where you want to go. And the only thing that can ever cause any of these afflictions and any of these things are our thoughts.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
thoughts is the battlefield right there.
And then people, so basically, I guess if you think about it, the number one problem is not controlling your thoughts and thinking that you can't control your thoughts.
That's spot on. Spot on.
So what a crazy thing, because I've been through it myself. I've had anxiety, I've had depression, I've been suicidal, drug addiction, I've done the whole lot. and
Do you regret? I hate that word regret. I never use the word regret because you know how you talk about the moment?
Yeah.
That moment that you do whatever you're doing is the decision you're making at that moment.
Yes.
Also, there's no point in regretting it.
No, it's and even people say, you know, a lot of times oh, you know, if I hadn't have done this, if I hadn't have done that, or I wish I didn't do this, I wish I didn't do that. Well, I guess it depends how you feel about the present moment and where you are now.
Yeah.
Because everything that I've done with the awareness I had at the time.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's led me to this point in time right now. If I had some different back then, it's that butterfly effect, and I wouldn't be where I am right now.
I really want to be able. I
want
want to talk. If it's okay with you, and you can tell me to stop or whatever. I really want to know a little bit more about you. I believe that your spiritual journey has been quite new-ish. Is that correct?
I've ramped it up over the last 7 years. Yeah.
So, I can't imagine you growing up in a. Well, no, I can imagine you growing up in thongs and shorts and in an Australian backyard. What was your childhood like?
I lived in Coogee.
Oh, right.
Oh, whereabouts?
Christine Crescent, the old part of Coogee, because it was all mostly bush then. It's
all right.
Now.
So
That's
is
a
that
fortune
like
there
over
now.
the hill?
Yeah, at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I know the area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the old area towards Fremantle, little old area there.
What school did you go to?
Coogee Primary School. And
Did
Hamilton Hill High School.
Oh, okay. You might know my husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad
I
thing?
don't know. Could be good, could be bad.
Depends
Maybe
how
I should
old
talk
he
to
is,
the
I
husband
suppose.
about what he was up to, yeah.
Well, I'm 55, so...
You're younger than me. Bloody
You're
hell.
exactly his age.
oh, really?
You probably went to the same school.
Oh, hang on. No, you're my age.
Yeah.
So hang on. He's 54, but he's a
and
Moore.
that's a huge
he's a Moore.
difference.
So the Moore brothers. Did you
Moore.
know Wayne and
Moore.
Brett? Wayne and Brett Moore.
Did they live on...
Wayne would have been so they would have been a year younger than
Yeah,
you.
the name rings a bell.
And then there was a Robert Moore.
Yeah.
The
They
older
lived in
brother.
Coogee?
No, they lived in. Oh, I've got off the conversation.
Name rings a bell anyway.
Yeah, the Moore brothers. So
That they went to Hamilton Hill.
Hammy Hill
More or less.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did go to Hammy
It was
High.
a dad joke.
Oh,
Was
okay.
Oh, anyway, sorry,
It's a
you
small
were talking.
world. It's
So
always a small world.
that's really expensive in that area now.
No, well, back then it was a
No.
bit different.
Wow.
So,
Yeah,
we used to
wasn't
walk, it was a couple of k's to school, and sometimes we'd save our 5 cents bus fare for lollies, walk to school
wow.
barefoot through the bush quite
Hey,
often.
really?
You know.
When 5 cents
Leave at
bought you
7 o'clock in
lollies.
the morning, have a little adventure on the way to school.
Oh, cool.
Walking barefoot through,
Whatever, yeah.
Rarely saw snakes. Had these lupin forests that were really high, a metre and a half high, so we'd play hide and seek.
Oh,
Hide in
cool.
these lupin forests. The back of our house was bush, and then it was market
Oh,
garden.
nice.
So occasionally
yeah.
we'd be naughty and go and steal the odd carrot or two from the market garden and have the market gardener chasing us, shaking
Yeah.
his fist.
Have you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, an older brother and a younger sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Middle child syndrome.
Oh, yeah. Is that true? Is that really a
Are
thing?
you a middle child?
No, I'm the eldest.
I am.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
I can
Yeah.
vouch.
When one can tend to move towards victimhood a little here and there.
I think it's great being the middle child. We're usually the ones that are just kind of keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
no.
down the beach all the time and
Nice.
playing around, and there was a lot of freedom back then. So
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was only 3 TV channels, and in fact we didn't have a TV quite often. We didn't want one, so we used to read a lot of books,
That's really good.
that sort of thing.
That's really
And,
good.
Are you a book reader?
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
a lot of books. Yeah,
So
that's where I
you
get a lot of my information from.
So is Eckhart Tolle one of your favourites?
Yeah, well, it was pivotal for me reading The Power of Now that was in 2016.
It's interesting. Everyone who reads it says
I've
it
been given
changes
it-
their life, you know.
Yeah, I've been
There you
given
go.
it years before.
I've never
but
heard of it.
I didn't read it. I wasn't ready for it. But
Well-
it is an incredible book to read.
Yes.
I nearly didn't keep reading it because at the start, I have all these, what I thought, I'm going to read this book by this guru. I'd already read a few Dalai Lama books and other Buddhist books and other stuff like that. I started moving away from Buddhism, mostly because of intellectualism and the thing of reincarnation as a different animal and all that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
So none of that, now I believe anything is possible. Going on transcendental meditations and seeing things and all that sort of stuff. And seeing past lives and things that I've done.
Is that real? So that's not drug related in any way whatsoever.
No. Well, the funny thing is, so Eckhart Tolle was the first time I was working on the offshore oil and gas, and I read his book, The Power of Now, and it had some meditations in it. So I was up in my cabin on a pipe layer, laying all this pipe along the ocean bed. 650 people on this huge ship, biggest one in the world of its type. And I've been through quite a journey of leading a quite hedonistic lifestyle at times, being a musician, and just not being, I knew there was a lot more to life and had known for a while. So I'm reading this. There was this meditation where you go deep in the meditation and you forget about where your body ends and the room starts. You forget about your body and everything. I can't remember the exact meditation. And I'd been meditating on and off for a few years since 2006, but not very seriously. And I did this meditation, got deep into it, and then all of a sudden it was like I couldn't feel my body. I didn't, like I could have been anywhere. And I actually went across the ocean and then saw the surface of the earth, and I didn't realise till much later that I was astral travelling a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I came back and I'm sitting there, and this feeling of euphoria, this beautiful feeling of just euphoria just filled my whole body.
Oh, wow.
And that euphoria is not the right word for it. I can't really describe it. This
Like
feeling
a
of peace
presence
and
of
joy
peace.
and euphoria and everything all at the same time. And I just went, oh, my God. Is that I now know that I had started to activate my pineal gland. And a little gland.
It just sounds rude to me.
It's not penis, it's pineal.
I didn't even think about that, but it just
So
sounds
from there, I
You
did
made
that,
me think
and
about that.
surprisingly, I didn't stick to after that and that beautiful experience.
Oh,
I was
dear.
meditated, read the rest of the
You
book.
wouldn't want to come
meditated.
out, would you?
But I still went back to my old lifestyle from time to time a little bit, not much. I'd been sort of going,
Yeah.
So what
juicing that
is-
way of living.
What is the pineal gland?
The pineal gland is like a transducer. It's a transmitter at the back of the brain, in between the two
It's
brains.
Spiritual.
And it's like a
thing?
well, no, it's scientific. It's all proven by quantum physics these days. So it allows you to go to other dimensions. Like our dream state is the fourth dimension. So it takes us to those dimensions. When you see people taking magic mushrooms, they have all these, trips in that they're going to other dimensions. It's now proven. In fact, scientists have brought what they call scalar frequencies in from the fourth dimension, the dream state, and put them into computers.
What?
Microsoft computer scientists have taken our human DNA, put it into a computer, and 1 gram of human DNA stores 770 terabytes of information.
My God.
Right? So they've actually brought these frequencies in. If you split an atom and take half of an atom onto the other side of the world, when you do something to the split half on this side, the atom on the other side of the world does exactly the same thing.
No.
And you look into a microscope and you want to see what the atoms are doing. If you're not looking at it, there's not many electrons around the atoms and that sort of thing. As soon as you go and give it your attention, the electrons are flying around.
Wow.
It's all been proven by science now,
Wow.
but it's not reported on. It's not in mainstream media. It's not in social media. It's not in most things, because you can't control people once they start knowing how to do these things and freeing themselves.
Do you think that they're on purpose? We're sort of kept very much in our humanity,
God, yeah.
and we're not. A lot of people, and the children are not taught at school how to tap into their
Definitely.
spiritual side.
But I don't think I know.
Well, it's
Everyone
true.
knows, don't
Yeah,
they?
100%.
Yes. I think
That's the way they
These
control
days,
you.
and that's
Yeah.
part of what they call this great awakening. That is, people are starting to wake up
Correct,
to that.
yeah. And
So
Eckhart Tolle talks
Yeah.
about that as well.
The pivotal part is the pineal gland. So when you can activate that, that's where I get these. And then I went on to a bloke called Dr. Joe Dispenza and did a special breathing exercise and a meditation called Blessing of the Energy Centers, the chakras.
Yeah.
So we've been taught, isn't it funny that we've been taught over the last 100 years since pharmaceuticals came in that all the chakras and all energy and all that is just rubbish, and it's, why have we been convinced of that? What is the point of that?
Do you think that religion's got a big part to do with that? Because religion,
Yeah.
people want, people to be part of a certain group, and so they sort of teach people within those groups not to ever look at the spiritual side, even though they are spiritual to a level. They don't ever really go to a deeper understanding of who they actually are, because within their
It's
religion.
control. It's like it's a control.
Yeah, and it becomes a fearful thing. People become afraid to actually tap into their full spirituality.
Well, yeah, because they're taught to be afraid. Fear has
right.
been the constant factor for thousands of years. So we have had a horrible patriarchy for the last couple of thousand years. I think we can all agree on that. Where a very tiny percentage of men with a lot of power have controlled the world for thousands of years.
Yes.
Now, the way they controlled it for thousands of years was through religion. The teachings and the religion themselves are beautiful. There's nothing wrong with all that.
Correct,
it's all good.
correct.
But what they teach is that they teach about heaven and the kingdom and all that sort of thing as though it's something outside, something like a God-fearing.
And how
they make a
bad and
God-fearing
terrible
society.
you are and how much you need to...
But when they talk about the kingdom, it's the kingdom within. When they talk about the God, it's the God within. So no matter what religion, no matter what anything,
That's where
what
we're all
they
the
do
same.
all have in the same thing is if you do what we say, you can have eternal life. But we have eternal life anyway. They have no control over that.
No.
Well, what are you going to, you'll go to hell, So, again, it's all been done through fear, through men for thousands of years. But we're now moving into the age of Aquarius where the divine feminine energy is coming in and changing all that. And that's why you're
People
seeing
want more,
so...
they're
We
understanding
wouldn't have
more.
talked about this stuff on radio 5
No.
years ago.
No.
And 20 years ago, you
No.
are crazy, get out of here,
They'd burn the place down.
But still, that patriarchy, those people who hold all that power, and most of the power in the world is held by a handful of people. The 65 richest people in the world own more than 4 billion people. How crazy is that? Yet we all
Wow.
accept it and we all go,
That's
it's just
it's
the
just
way
it
it
is. Yeah.
So we all become victims. When you become victims, but things are wrong, but you just say, well, that's the way it is, you have what's called cognitive dissonance, where you feel bad about it, right? You go, well, I know about this, but there's nothing I can do about it. Or I know about this, and I know that this is the truth, but I can't speak that truth because society will squash me down and do that. That's called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, but don't
Most
you think
people
that's
live.
happening a lot at the moment? People don't feel like they can say what they really, really feel.
That's
Never
good
have,
because when they realise that, instead of just believing, that's the next step towards awakening themselves and freeing themselves up in whatever way they want. And when enough people do that, well, of course, the whole world and the whole world systems will change.
Yes.
There's free energy out there.
But the
that
social...
they keep it. There's no money to be made from it.
But don't you find that social media, when you've got people that troll and everything, someone says what they think, next thing you know, it's the cancel culture comes in. Cancel them. How dare they say what they think or feel? Next
Can't
thing you
have an
know it,
opinion.
they're on TV crying, saying, I'm so sorry I said what I feel. I'm so sorry that to me is my truth. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Whether people agree, we should be able to agree and disagree or
Not
have
have
the
to say
discussion.
sorry for it.
Yeah, have the discussion. But people are being shut down from saying what they actually feel because people get offended. But yet offence is another part of it's gonna happen. People are gonna have a different view. They're at a different, you say like a vibrational frequency and stuff like that. Well, just in a different place. Why can't we just accept that without cancelling people and then getting on and beating them all up and bullying them?
Yeah,
For
exactly.
having a different view or not being able to see things through your perspective yet. It doesn't mean they never will. They just don't see it yet.
And that, I think, the attitude comes from the top. Where does that come from to begin with?
I don't know.
Well, it comes from the top, those who are controlling. I'll give you an example. Have you ever watched Question Time in Parliament?
That is just like...
Have you ever watched in
It's
Parliament?
worse than
Have you ever
playgroup,
paid any attention to how politicians speak
we
of
allowed to
other
say that on
politicians
radio?
who aren't on their team?
The bullying
The
them.
people who run the country, how do they act and what do they do to the people who are the opposition? To the
But it's ridiculous because the truth is never...
So it comes from the top.
Yeah, the truth is in the grey area. It's never in the black and white. Never.
Yeah.
Anyone who takes a hard core stance, this is it,
Yeah.
they don't know.
Well, that brings us to truth, doesn't it?
The truth
What
is-
is truth?
The truth is both sides actually coming together and working together, right? Or not?
Well, there's a lot of different ways of thinking about truth. So, like for politicians, one of their main jobs is to character assassinate each other.
It's
right?
horrible.
But isn't that true? Right?
Yep.
Definitely.
So one of their main jobs as leaders of the country is to assassinate each other's character. What
And we're putting them
example is
people into
that?
as leaders.
If you spoke in a business, any business, the way that they speak to each other in Parliament, you would be out. but they're allowed to do it. And they're the ones who are running the country
Yep.
and supposedly leading us. What sort of people do that?
Exactly.
It's not cool.
You couldn't do that in here.
But we're
You
voting
couldn't
these
do
people
that
in.
if you worked at Kmart.
Yeah, but they're fine until you vote them in, and then they all start fighting. And
So,
carrying on.
there's one of your answers is it comes from the top down, and then of course your mainstream media and social media. There's been this real push to you're either with me or you're against me. You know, it's like I'm on this side, I stand with this.
Oh,
and having with anything, it doesn't
Yes.
matter what it is.
Yeah.
So we all have our opinions and we all have our truths, but where does truth come from? If you do consider something to be true, where does that actually come from? If someone else has a different truth,
I have no
About
idea.
it.
I never thought of it like
where does
that.
your truth come from and where does their truth come from?
Usually from experience, I think.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
Experiencing
it's going to be true either, does it?
for somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know, actually, when you think of it that way.
I need to
You
think.
can't.
I need to dwell on that one a little bit.
Well, I believe it comes from your belief. So your belief, if you believe something, it's true.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't
Yes,
believe it, it's
yes.
not true.
True, yeah.
That's true. That's
Do you
true.
believe
That
it?
is true.
I do.
I believe that.
I think I was looking at it from a different point of view. I was
Yeah.
looking
And
at
if you
it
don't
more
believe it, what is it?
like
A lie.
It's not
I was
true.
thinking
No.
like the truth,
Well, this is
with
what I'm
a
getting at.
capital.
This is what I'm leading to, okay?
the truth.
So...
Because there's my beliefs and there's your beliefs, and then
okay, so
what
then
is true.
where do your beliefs come from?
Oh, they're imprinted on us when we're children.
Hey?
They're imprinted on us
That's
when we're
right. So,
children.
but where does that information come from?
Well, it was imprinted on them when they were children.
Yeah, and where does their information come from?
and fast generations.
Generational.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking about intergenerational
Beliefs
imprinting,
and
and that
imprinting.
goes into your genes and your DNA, and that's happened for thousands of years. The whole history of the world has been proven to be wrong, yet everyone still believes it,
Yeah.
right? The whole history of the world. So our belief comes from what we're told.
Yep.
Not from something we've experienced ourselves.
Not a
from
fact.
something we know is our truth. It's something that's been conditioned and programmed into us.
Yep.
And so what happens when a whole bunch of people have been programmed and conditioned with this information that comes from somewhere that you don't actually know is true or not,
Yeah.
but you believe it because that's what you're told and you trust the people who have told you. And then when a majority of people believe that, it becomes a universal truth.
Yeah.
And these universal truths are debunked day after day after day after day after day. So what truth really is there? Is there any truth? Everyone has their own truth, and those truths change over time
They
from
do.
our beliefs.
They do.
That's
So,
true.
and
They
that's the
do.
difference
Yeah.
in individual consciousness and collective consciousness. So when everyone believes, I'll give you an example of how the mainstream media does it. At the moment, Russia's at war with Ukraine, and Russia are the worst people, Vladimir is the worst person in the world, and they've invaded this helpless country and all that sort of thing, and Ukraine haven't done anything, and they just want to take land back. Well, there's other things that aren't reported, and I don't know if any of this is true or not, right? Let me just say that. Is that in Ukraine there were 11 biochemical plants all around the border near Russia, and that Ukraine is the biggest money laundering country in the world for Western countries, and that neo-Nazis were having a big stronghold in the country, and that was a major reason why that happened. So despite all that, it doesn't matter. So everyone stands with Ukraine, right, in the Western world. Everyone, I stand with Ukraine or that. Let's go back to the Gulf War and Saddam Hussein, right? You go back to the Gulf War where the US invaded Iraq, right, searched for and killed, Saddam Hussein and thousands of millions of people because they said there were weapons of mass destruction. So what came out afterwards is there was no weapons of mass destruction. They knew there was no weapons of mass destruction. They made that up because they had it was an oil crisis.
Yep.
And they wanted the oil.
Power.
Now,
Yeah.
this is common knowledge now.
Yeah, it's power.
So where were the
Yeah.
people saying, I stand with Iraq?
Yeah, no, it didn't happen.
Why
What about
was no one saying I'll stand with Iraq? And I'll tell you why. Because that we get programmed and conditioned by, and who was it that made us believe all that?
media?
The media. So how powerful is the media?
Extremely
Same with
powerful.
COVID, and I won't go into that.
What
How
about 9/11 then?
Well, I think and this is where cognitive dissonance comes into it as well. These were some things I was going to talk about, but now we've come to them anyway. because I wanted to talk about what you can do about that cognitive dissonance and the beautiful things you can do to get yourself out of that.
I want to talk about the pineal gland for a second.
By the control, so 9/11, I think a lot of people and many people that if a building collapses from fire, it doesn't do a controlled collapse. Even when they try and do controlled collapses,
they don't go that well. Yeah.
Right, and then there was a building 7, I think it was, that didn't get hit by anything, and that collapsed.
Oh, really?
That's common knowledge.
Yeah,
But what happens is cognitive dissonance and a thing called willful blindness. They can't possibly anything that bad that government would do, so I'm just not going to believe it. I'm just not going to believe it. And you just can't bring yourself to believe it. I don't know what happened, but the facts are that building 7 was not hit by any planes, and that collapsed as well.
Yeah.
So, but then everyone goes, so that causes cognitive dissonance in another way.
Sure.
So we know all these things are happening from the very rich and powerful.
Yep.
Because power is a very, very addictive thing, and they also believe they're doing the right thing. So when countries go to war, it's okay to kill 20,000 people to keep this country safe, or to not have that person in charge and that person in charge. And unfortunately, the US has been at war with countries that can't defend themselves for many, 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 many years.
Cowards.
They put people in power because they put, what was his name, Osama bin Laden, they funded him and put him in power, the US CIA.
There you
then
go.
he's in Afghanistan war.
Scapegoat. He's the scapegoat.
The biggest despo ever.
Yeah.
So, there's all this deception going on and judgment. And to me, deception and judgment are the two energies that, if everything was open, why aren't things open and honest? Why are there so many secrets? The government is supposed to look after us.
Yep.
But the word means governmental. So what they're doing is governing. The word itself says it's to govern people's mental.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it's when you start thinking outside the square, and part of that is that pineal gland, seeing these things right, and when you can meditate. So the solution to that is when you get into meditation and sound healing and all the other beautiful things that people do, your mind frees up and opens up from all that conditioning and programming, and you allow yourself to see these things. And I still get angry about it a bit here and there, but I believe the best way to deal with this is to bring in abundance, bring in beautiful love energy, and through quantum physics and quantum entanglement, that energy then goes outwards and spreads to others. And if I spread that energy to you two here today, you'll go home and spread it to other people, because that's the way energy works. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the way, instead of getting caught down the rabbit holes and all these total injustices that are going on. I mean, 65 people owning more than 4 billion, but we all accept that.
Yeah.
These things have got to change. Our earth has got to change, or we're not going to have one. What's it going to be like for our grandchildren's grandchildren?
Yeah.
So that's my way I like to, be of service and get quite adamant about these things. But to battle it is not the way to go. So when we're talking about truth and belief, when enough people believe in peace and they believe in, profit being shared a fair bit, nothing wrong with being rich, but the richest people in the world aren't on any rich list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And those that are, once you've got $1 billion, why do you need more?
No.
What can you possibly, so what are they doing it for?
Power.
The power. And to push their idealistic of what's going on. So there's some very scary things going on with AI and that sort of thing, and transhumanism, which is an agenda of the United Nations through the World Economic Forum now, and all that sort of thing. They want everyone, where emotions are considered weak, and to be productive and everything, we all need to have a little chip in our brains, and you've heard about that, already, and people think it's a good idea. No. People got little chips in them and that sort of thing. It's taking
we're definitely headed that way.
It's control. It's control again as well.
And we will lose our humanism. We will lose our natural way of being human. So there's this big fight going on about that at the moment, And of course...
And that was predicted many, 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 many years ago.
100 years ago.
Long time ago about the chipping.
Wow.
We chip our dogs, don't we?
We do.
So what will people do next? They're going to chip their children so that, they can't be stolen from them. They'll know.
I think that's actually
to track
already
them.
happening.
And what are those chips connected to?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Who's
but what would the
controlling
chips be
that?
connected to?
Who's
Government.
controlling that?
The government.
Through
Computers, AI, and
Through
computers.
5G towers.
Yeah. Oh no, here we go.
That's how, isn't that how everything is connected? How does the chip communicate with whoever it's
Exactly, it has to
communicating
be through the
with?
tower.
And from a practical point of view,
Yeah.
how does that chip
The basic,
that you get
yeah.
inserted that are already available? How does that?
Yeah.
How's that? How do you actually that chip communicate with whatever
it's
it
through
is
the-
to do what it's doing?
Through the towers.
From a
I
practical
do
point of view.
actually find this conversation. This is one that I do find very like. So if anyone else is listening
It
to
is,
this,
and
it is a very
scary, and it is something
scary
that
thing
I
for our
try not to
future.
delve too much into because it scares me. But to me, when enough people in high enough in power turn to the
can
the
see that we're
abundant
losing. We're just slowly giving away.
But we've
Not
all got
slowly,
mobile
very
phones in
quickly.
front of us.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
happening?
very
You've all got
pretty
mobile
quickly. Well,
phones.
yeah, I mean, just in our generation, I mean, look, we're all the same vintage here, and look how many changes we have seen. I mean, we went to school, and the computers, we didn't see a computer in school.
No.
I saw
We,
one of the first.
we were still
Yeah,
learning how to
same.
type,
Yeah.
tap,
Yeah.
you know. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy
And
dogs.
same, when you were a kid, if you said to someone, just
Did
go
you used to
jump
do
on the
that?
Wi-Fi and get on the net. they'd
What
go,
the hell? What are you talking about?
So look
Yeah.
how much it's changed in 50
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And that technology, and
It's,
especially AI,
yeah.
It's getting
which
quicker.
they don't know about and can't control, go up now is what's it going to be like in 50 years? Because the rate of change with technology and
So
how much it's
fast.
outpacing human capability
Yeah.
is very
It's
scary, but it's also
definitely
very heartening if it's
outside
done
of
for
my
the right
capability.
reasons as well.
But
so,
I don't. But what are those right reasons?
well, the right reasons are for medical reasons.
Okay,
for-
yeah.
for both
Yeah.
True. Tesla and Einstein said that the future of medicine is in frequency,
Okay.
not in chemical chemical intervention.
Okay.
And quantum physics and all the science and all these things that are going on. The incredible movement that's been going on in the world for a couple of years called this, awakening, not woke, it's a different thing altogether. I don't watch hardly any media, so I don't know much about it myself. But I see in my community, and when I go around and talk to people now have this sense, and they talk about what we're talking about, and they get this sense that I don't have to suffer this anxiety and depression in my life. I do have control over it. I can do something about it. Whereas in the past, you would just listen to your doctor and say, well, you just have to be on this medication.
No,
for the rest of your
exactly.
life, and that's what you have to do.
Exactly.
Because that's what they tell you.
Exactly.
Because that's what they're trained.
That's what I'm struggling with right
Because all the
now.
medical schools are funded by the pharmaceutical
Exactly.
industry.
Yeah.
And the Therapeutic Goods Association, the biggest therapeutic goods that approves all drugs, is 96% funded by the pharmaceutical industry. The World Health Organisation's biggest funder is Bill Gates. So
There you
I
go.
think the big thing is people thinking that they're helpless when they're not. They're actually more powerful than what they
But
realise.
the government and that want you to feel like you're helpless because it's control.
and why do they want you to feel like that? Because
So they
if
can
we
control
realise
you.
how powerful we are as conscious creating, divine consciousness, beautiful human beings, then they would lose that control.
That's
so
true.
this is
Exactly.
this is my way of dealing with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is to do
Yeah.
my
And
meditations
I think more
sound
people
healing.
are going to definitely start to open their minds and hearts to, is there more for me? Because my doctor's giving me these tablets and it's really not helping.
Yep, that's exactly where I am.
We are supposed to feel, but we're also supposed to use that to help us to learn to overcome and to really to be able to understand who we really are and overcome those things. I don't think I've explained that very well, but we're
I know
not
where you're coming
supposed to
from.
be
Yeah.
reliant on some pill to make us feel better. I know there's probably a lot of people listening that maybe take tablets, but there's got to be something in you that goes, well, not feeling something isn't helpful either. Because
That's the
all
journey,
it is, that's suppression, because you said that you have a history with drug addiction.
Yeah.
So all these things just really just suppress what
Yeah.
It was to numb myself.
Yeah, but then eventually when you stop taking those drugs, you had to look at it. You had to go, oh, yeah, there it is. And this is why. It took a while maybe. Maybe it took 12 months to go, oh, this
it's
is
never
why.
ending. It still comes back every now and
Yeah.
again.
Of
but then we
course.
have a conscious choice of what we're going to do
Yeah,
with
the
You
it.
go,
choice,
oh, That reaction was a bit over
especially
the top
when you get
there.
triggered and you
Triggers.
So to move from triggered to move from reaction to response is one of the greatest things of being conscious, I guess, in the spiritual world. So that you don't just react and go into this automatic anxiety and depression and stuff. You go, maybe you will for a little while, and then you go, I've done that again, and then you work towards a point where for a lot of the time you don't react at all and you can just respond and go, and because we're expected to react and respond straight away, but
we don't
you can
have
just go,
to.
I'm going to take a little bit of time now. Don't stop talking to me. I'm going to take a little bit of time and let me process this.
Stop.
No, I don't mean you.
Okay. Oh, that's good, Al. I thought you meant me.
We are a talking show, you remember?
Yeah, but that's the thing. With cognitive behavioural therapy, have you heard of that?
I've done it.
Oh, have you? Great. Same. I've done a
psychotherapist,
certificate.
Psychologist,
Oh, have you?
Psychiatrist.
Yeah. Look, I'm not all over this, but I did do a little certificate in it. But it is. You talked about thoughts earlier, just sort of everything that you've said. So the thoughts are the issues. It's our thinking, and then it brings on the feelings and the emotions and everything. But there's always this pause. Right, and I did do a writing on this where, you know, that little old story of like the devil sitting on one shoulder and the angel on the other, where that you're just about to react and that the devil's going, tell him what you think, and then there's this other little knowing, this quieter voice that's going, but you know you're going to regret it, you know you will, and you're like, I probably will, but I'm going to say it anyway, and you react. You had that moment to pause and go, just to think, if I say this right now, what's going to happen? And you know that it's probably going to be something you're going to have to apologise for later because you overreacted. But so I really recommend taking the pause and what you said, like, it's okay, and this is a lot of people don't realise this, it's okay to not answer. It's okay to say, I don't think I'm going to I'm just going to take a moment to think about what you just said, and I'm going to come back to you on that. I don't do it as much as I should. I'm a reactor. Okay. Just letting you know.
No, I am.
Just letting you know, Mish, just in case I ever react.
Just don't overreact, right?
What? Right, I'm a very, I think it's cultural as well. Yeah. We are quick to respond in a reactive way, not always a proactive way. I'm definitely more on the positive side, but I
think as children too, if you don't respond to someone who's saying, "Oh, you know, your auntie's talking to you. Why aren't you talking to her or something? Or why are you gone quiet?" Or you're expected to answer straight away. I think as a child. You know, don't be rude.
We should teach our children to just take the pause. When someone says something mean to you, take a moment. Feel it. Choose your reaction. Yeah. That hurt me, but I choose not to hurt you in this moment. Yeah. So I know that's mature. A lot of people go, oh, that's not what I do. Most people don't. But if we're going to be a society that gets better and better, then we're going to stop hurting other people. Yeah,
to bring in more, I like seeing a spiritual teacher called Matt Kahn that I love. I like quite a few different ones. And I guess what he says, you know, you want to raise vibration of the earth, want to do this and that. That's happening on a scientific level, literally. But is to bring more benevolence into the world, basically. Because we could do with a lot more benevolence, a lot more kindness, a lot more
good deeds,
just to everyone at all, and that just a simple goal of bringing more benevolence into the world. And as everyone gets more benevolence, then that filters through the world, and then that belief becomes a truth, and it goes from individual truth to collective consciousness, and that's how we change the world, not by battling and arguing and saying this is terrible. Well, there are a lot of terrible things going on in the world. I think as humans, it's interesting because we're capable of such incredible love and joy and gratitude and doing incredible things for each other, but we're also capable of the exact opposite.
For sure.
This is the thing with technology and AI and all these things, is that makes these things a lot more extreme. But it can go either way, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. That's right.
So,
it can be
yeah,
used for good.
Yeah.
It can be used for good. But in the hands of the wrong people.
And the people who are running the world at the moment, I think everyone would agree, aren't probably the right people that should be running the world.
They should put us in charge of the world.
No thanks. I wouldn't want that job. No way.
Why not?
No.
It could be interesting. And I can tell you now, it'd be very colourful.
You could be an advisor, maybe, but not I wouldn't want to be that person that everyone looks up to and hates.
See, that's the thing. The higher that you go, everybody's looking for something to pull you down.
And
but
the power.
Negative too.
That's a good point because that's a good one, Misha. So look, all care taken, but no responsibility.
Have 100%. 100%.
But this is the other thing that I believe, and we all have our belief, needs to change in the world. Is for thousands of years we've had this apex power structure, right, where all the power goes like that. In everything, all right, up the top to only a few people, right?
That's right.
Think about schools, businesses, government, any organisation, anything, even IPL. You know,
there's
this
always
is the way that there's got this apex power structure that goes up to only, eventually goes up to one person.
Yep.
It has to. How else can it not? It's an apex power structure.
Yeah.
So that one person wields so much power. Well, before organised religion, there wasn't really much in the way of apex power structure. What happened was you had circle.
Yeah, you had
you had your circle, you had your community.
Community, yeah.
That's right. So this is why I've been part of the Monday Night Conscious Community Circle because we want to move it to we want to move things to a circular. Not that I don't go there much at the moment. I'm busy, but so when we can come around and circular thing, because apex also means from the top of the world down. So why do we have to have one government in charge of everything, and then that goes down to state government and local government, but it all comes from this power structure? Why does this have to be integrated with that over east? Why it's all this power structure? So when you can bring it round and you have representatives of the community doing things and not this apex power structure, and they can be, interchanged quite regularly, and you don't have to have all this. You can have an economy here, you can have an economy down south, you can have an economy in the desert. Why does it all have to be hooked up together in this apex power structure? So same with businesses and that sort of thing, and with schools and with anything, it doesn't matter. There's this horrible apex power structure that needs to be changed to a circular of everyone being in agreement and doing the right thing, which is slowly happening.
It's all got to do with money, though, hasn't it?
That's right. And what is money? Why do they want money so much? Power. So what does it keep coming back to?
It always comes back to power.
It's a common theme here. So all the anxiety, all the depression, all everything we're told, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Climate change, you're told it's all our fault. But who's actually perpetrating it? Who has designed our world the way it is?
The people that are up there.
Our existence the way it is. Have we designed it?
No.
So who's designed it?
The big person on the top of the apex.
So, and this is what people are waking up to. So you go through a process of that when first you get angry, going, this is terrible, and then you can go through feelings of, so what everyone's in is, most people know that.
Yeah.
Inherently know
what can
it,
I
right?
do?
You all know that, but you don't talk, don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
Right? So
or they'll go,
I
can't do anything.
We might talk about it to our partners in the privacy of our own house, but we wouldn't dare open this conversation into our group of friends because everyone's got different opinions.
And you're not allowed to have your own opinion.
Fear.
No.
So then it comes back to the fear that we're taught.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
There is a circle. There's a circle. Yeah.
All of that.
We need to have a break, I think, because we've been chatting big heavy stuff.
This was heavy today.
But there is beautiful things.
There is. Let's focus on the...
I want to really get quickly before we finish, I want to talk about the pineal gland again because you know how you said that it took you a while to be able to release that, whatever it is.
Well, no, it happened very quickly for me.
Okay, so let's talk about the mushrooms. Do they get into the pineal gland?
And that's why people have these experiences.
Is there another easier way of doing it?
There is. You get plant medicine because there's also ayahuasca that you've probably heard of over in Peru and that sort of thing. So there's plant medicine, but I think you have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. There's yoga.
Oh, okay.
Qigong.
Yeah.
meditation,
Yeah.
sun gazing.
Oh.
Do you wear
And-
sunglasses when you do that?
No, I've had more sunglasses for years.
But you did say you've got eye problems. You told me, I said
Yeah, but I've got a third eye. What do I need that for?
he doesn't need
It's
to
not
see.
here as well.
He's completely blind, but he can see through his spiritual eye, and that's all he
I've got a
needs.
story about that, actually, from going up to Kununurra in this very spiritual indigenous land.
Yeah.
Right? So
Go
first
on.
of all, sun gazing, you only do at sunrise and sunset when we're told not to do it. And it's been it's been going on for thousands of years. So if you put your fist up to the horizon, as long as the sun is below your fist, then it's okay. And you build up to it. Like first you start just when it's just about to, and you just give it 10 or 20 seconds, and then you can build up to a few minutes and a little bit longer.
Okay.
Wow.
So what happens?
So what happened to me, I went up to Kununurra to look after my cousin who'd fractured a neck, and I got taken out by a local to a place called Andy's Chasm, but it's quite a spiritual, and not many people go out there. So I could feel, I've been an energy worker, or was already doing that for a while, and I could feel the land and the pull of the land and everything. And I decided on this trip, there was about 8 or 9 of us, we're going up, climbing up through all these hills to come down this chasm, this water where it's only a foot or two wide but 20 feet deep, and going through these little caves, and you can only go at it at certain times. There has to be just enough rain
Okay.
that you can go through it. If there's too much rain, it flows
Flood.
down, then you can't,
Yeah.
or otherwise it's dry. So you have to do it at a certain time. And he said, that's the right time for that. So local bloke took us out there. I decided I was going to meditate the whole way and really get into the energy of the land, because I've had that in local areas
Okay.
too, with indigenous energy. So I went up there and I'm meditating all the way, and I'm doing this, and everyone's talking to each other, and I was probably the oldest person there and quite unfit and trying to keep up with everyone. So climbing up this and that. And anyway, I'm just getting deeper and deeper, and whenever we stop somewhere, I remember stopping and there was this big black rock, and I'm looking at it and going, oh, wow. So I've just automatically gone with my intuition, because men don't normally have intuition. You've heard of women's intuition, but you've never heard of a thing called men's intuition. have you?
You're right.
They have it. Of course they have it.
So I'm leaning up against this black rock, and I can feel this, the pineal gland, and this flow of euphoria and ecstasy throughout my whole body, going and all this sort of stuff, and feeling very at ease and that sort of thing. And then we stopped at another spot, and I laid in the water, because water is conscious. Water is a conscious entity. It's a beautiful book by Matsuru Itoka. I could never remember the name of him. That all these experiments on water. So I'm laying in the water, just listening out. I'd talk to someone every now and again, but I was really in a walking meditation the whole time. And then we've climbed down this chasm. I'm just noticing all the beauty and everything. And then we get out to the other side, and I need glasses to drive. But I've got a four-wheel drive, so going over the odd curb at night is not that much of an issue, right? So I'm looking out. So normally, if I'm in a room and on the other side, it's not that easy to make out who it is. I've got to sort of squint and a big room, From here I can tell who you are. So,
And that's because I shine so bright.
that's
that
it.
you have
That
to
light, that light.
Shine like a diamond.
So I'm looking out and across and everything, and I'm looking out across the ridge, which is hundreds of metres away, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden I notice something. It's not blurry, it's not anything. I can almost make out all the branches and leaves and everything from right across the ridge. And I was wearing sunglasses at the time. I was still wearing sunglasses occasionally.
See how helpful
So-
they can be?
They were prescription sunglasses.
Okay.
But I'd taken them off, stuff. So I got my glasses, and I got them on, I'm taking them off, got them on, I'm taking them off and going, what is going on here? I can see just as good without them as with them. And that sort of thing. I mean, I used to be a merchant seaman, and I had to, wear glasses to do my job. So I'm looking and I'm going, wow, and I'm going like this, and people must have been thinking I'm weird. So I'm just walking along going like this and like that and going, and then I took them off, and I can see perfectly. I had 20/20 vision.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I'm connecting with the land and everything, trying to feel the land
Wow.
particular ways. So then I said to these people, I said, I got these glasses, and, when a lot of people can't look into them, they're quite strong. And I got perfect vision. I can just see. I'm like that. And they're going, oh, yeah, okay. And they probably think, who's this weird?
This is
Right? And then a couple, oh, wow. And then the guy who took us out there, Nate, 40, said, yeah, this is healing land out here. This is Indigenous healing land. Because different lands have different energies, you know. This is spiritual,
So whereabouts
quite
is
spiritual
that? It's
healing land there, up out of Kununurra. And so, and then our kids just kept going, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And then I got back and I said, my eyesight's perfect. I can't believe it. What did I keep saying to myself?
Can't be true.
Believe it.
Yeah, can't be true.
So over the course of the next couple of days, it took a couple of days, my eyesight went back to normal.
Because you didn't believe it.
The next day, it was still really good.
Wow.
And then over a couple of days, it went back to these things I've got here now.
Wow.
So that was just, and that's, you know, self-healing and healing through the land. The placebo effect, what does that mean? You have the placebo effect.
I've heard of that.
You heard of placebo.
It's not real.
Pharmaceutical companies first started testing drugs, they give people the real drug or they give them the sugar pill.
Oh, yes,
And then
yes,
they think
yes,
that
yes.
they're
What
taking the
happens
real
to the people who
drug.
take the sugar pill?
They think
A certain
they're taking
percentage of them, they actually heal just as well as the people who took
Because
the
they think that they've
The
got
brain.
other one. 'Cause they think
Yeah.
that they've got it. So what's happened there?
It's a mental thing.
Yeah, but what
They've
have
healed
they,
themselves.
what have they
They
actually done by
They
taking the
believe.
Their
sugar
faith.
pill?
They've had faith to believe.
But they have healed themselves,
Yes.
right? They've been tricked into it, but they've healed themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It can't be anything else because it's a sugar pill. So when they discovered this, when they first started doing pharmaceuticals,
They're believing that what they're taking is making a
right.
difference.
So belief, pure belief. What's belief?
Powerful.
Truth.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
So because they believe that, they healed themselves. But the funny thing is, after that happened, so that, would you not call that the greatest scientific medical discovery of all
You think
time,
so,
that
wouldn't
can
you?
heal yourself?
Yeah, gosh,
So
yeah.
after that, how much research was done into that?
Zero, because they're not going to make any money out of it.
But we all know about it. So we can take personal responsibility in that and go, I can heal myself.
True, yeah.
And then go on a journey to find out how to heal
So
yourself.
the healthy
And how to get
diet,
that belief.
positive.
Because the belief's a hard bit because we've been so programmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you can go on there, and I'm on a self-healing journey at the moment with various ailments, and I'm able to give myself pain relief, but I haven't been able to heal myself physically yet. So when you can start doing that stuff, and the sort of as human beings are so powerful, and that pineal gland, and we probably only can do 1% of what we're capable of, energetic
100%,
wise,
yeah. Yep.
and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So
Wow.
once you start delving into these things,
Yeah.
it almost becomes obsessive.
But a good
It's a lot.
obsession.
I've heard all of what you've talked about before in different, discussions, and it's huge topic. It just it's a
But it doesn't get
can of
talked about
worms.
much, but it's starting to get talked about a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we bring it into our focus and we go, well, I'm going to bring this into I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to explore it.
Amazing.
So what
isn't
can
it?
Magic
each
happens, but you have to
person
go into the
do?
unknown and face that.
Unknown. That's the unknown again.
Yeah.
We're back to the unknown.
Yeah.
We need to stop, have a
We
break.
do,
But we could go on for hours, and that's why I like Al coming in, because he's the weirdo in the room.
The happy weirdo.
He's the happy weirdo, and I love it. Okay, so thank you so much for coming in, as always.
Thank
We
you.
could talk for hours about this type of stuff, because it is all the unknown, and it's exciting to talk about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice
Yeah.
to meet you too.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to go into something a bit weird and wonderful for the 80s. This is Oh Yeah by Yellow.